morning. What's up, people? Good morning. How are we doing this morning? Welcome in. It is Tuesday. It's the 30th day of May. It's the 30th day of September, 2025. It's the end of my birthday month. Thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to celebrate it. Thank you for sharing it with me. For those of you who were there, we're finally back. We are getting back on schedule. Let's get up this morning. Let's get started. Let's get going. Good morning. Remy, what's going on? Welcome in this morning. How are you doing? Thanks for being here. It is currently 5:32 in the morning, people. We're on this walk and talk. Let's get out here. Let's get started with our life. Let's get started with our experience. As always, let's start with positivity. Let's start with growth, determination, focus. Focus. I'm focused, man. Y'all remember that? So, we want to have a good day. Want to continue having a good week. We're going into October. For those of you who are keeping track, this is the final quarter of the year. This is the fourth quarter, people. For those of you who watch American football, you know how important the fourth quarter is. You know how important it is to buckle down. If you're behind, it's where you start pulling out some of your trick plays, changing some of your focuses, going to some of the behaviors and backups that you know you've had, but you haven't been utilizing. If you're ahead or if you're on pace, you have to stay focused. Don't celebrate too soon. Don't give up. We are in the fourth quarter of the year, people. This is section 4. Last 3 months. For many businesses, they make this the first quarter of the year. I don't know if you guys understand why, but for businesses, it's about revenue. You want to always start strong, right? You want to start really strong at the beginning of your year. The first quarter of the year for businesses is because in October, November, and December, you can really push new products. You can really push sales. This is your first quarter of the year where for many businesses, for example, KFC, I believe in Japan, makes 75% of its total revenue on Christmas. I'm not sure if I'm recalling the appropriate Asian country, but it's 75% of their revenue is made on Christmas, because at some point they did something where everybody was like, hey, we celebrate Christmas with chicken. They were like, all right, it's KFC, it's gonna be. Boom, that's where they make their money. You put that in the first quarter of the year so you get a strong start. So you jump out to a lead, but it puts you in a position to be successful for the whole fiscal year. So that's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of companies do, because it gives them the opportunity to start the year strong. It gives them the opportunity to close out their books. Also, for tax purposes, it gives you quite a while to start to work your numbers. Start to say, hey, let's move some things around. Let's figure out where we are. Let's make sure we're keeping our profit. It's not going to all be taxed off of our bottom line. So that's a phenomenal thing, guys. And here, as we go into the fourth quarter of this year, the fourth quarter for us, guys, what we need to focus on right now, the key that we need to focus on, is going to be trusting ourselves. That's what we're going to talk about. Let me see. Fan said, you ain't black, whatever. The Grim, what up, big bro? But what's going on with you? Doesn't it always even out though in the end? Kind of, but what it does is it gives you a way. So if you start your first quarter very strong and you exceed your revenue expectations in the first quarter, then that gives you the ability to start to allocate funds in the future quarters and make adjustments. So it can even out in terms of, hey, here's where we did last year. So I had to find out when I was working in retail is that we didn't compare so on any given day, right? We wouldn't compare our numbers of this year to the previous year for that date. It would be for that day in that time frame, right? So the second Tuesday of November was compared to the second Tuesday of November. And it didn't matter. For example, down in New Orleans after the big Hurricane Katrina. After Katrina, a lot of your big box stores, when the checks start coming in from the insurance saying, hey, we're gonna pay for this stuff, we're gonna pay for it, people started going to places and just buying up appliances. They're getting just stoves and refrigerators and whole new kitchens and just outfitting their whole house all over again because they now have the funds to do so because of these insurance checks. When they went through that process and they're replacing everything, the company that I worked for at the time, I was working in an overnight team putting up fixtures. The company I worked for, we went to go do a job in New Orleans, and when we were there, they were like, yeah, so our numbers kind of suffer ever since Katrina. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They were like we made like $4 million in like the first week after Katrina. And they were like, so then everybody had these expectations of, hey, you need to hit these numbers again next year. It was like, nobody's growing those numbers. Nobody's improving on those numbers they did after that. But what it does is when you do that in the first quarter, you get to spread it out over the rest of the year. And so what do we have in here? We have Sharma. I can't see you, man. I can't see you, sir. I apologize for that. Can everybody else see me? Grib said true. Right. Sharma, where are you in this dark valley? Dude, I know I'm dark. Don't make me turn this light off. Is he planning to rob? Who is that? Sharma? Maybe, I don't know who we're even talking about at this point. Let's see. Juan said, yep, roofing companies went wild doing work down there. Exactly. And then the next year, right, after they do that work, they probably got 2 or 3 good years of work out of it. And then you get to year 4 and 5 after, and they're like, hey man, we made this much money in the month of whatever month Katrina was in, and the following month we made this much money. And they're like, okay, well, let's go down there and do it again. They're like, man, unless you got a cousin that know how to start a hurricane, we probably not gonna have the same amount of work to do. So I learned that that's how they compare retail. They compare that day to that next day. So for example, if Black Friday, right? If Black Friday falls on the 17th, because they'll do week to week, or if Black Friday falls wherever, on the 28th or 29th, wherever it is, wherever it's falling, because Thanksgiving moves, if Friday of the previous year was on a different date, then you're comparing different numbers. You're maybe comparing the Wednesday that it was something else on the week before, the year before. So those odd numbers make it difficult to match. But over time, yes, things do get good. Try repeat work the next year after the 5-year. Right, storms are a market out here in that aspect. They're a really big market, right? So there's this whole concept of, hey, you shouldn't take advantage of people's tragedies and difficulties to make profit. You're not taking advantage of people's tragedies and difficulties. What you're doing is you're providing a service. And when you provide this service, like things have costs. This is what we're talking about today. This is what we're talking about today because Like I said, today is about learning to trust yourself. Hey guys, here's my view from the top of the hill. Just want everybody to get a quick look. And now, I'm going to try to continue this walk. So, Warren said insurance companies paying out for the work. Insurance companies pay out heavy for this work. Now, what do I mean when I say, hey, we got to learn to trust ourselves? Well, in the simple aspect of when someone says to you, right, hey man, like, why should I pay you for that? Or when you say to yourself, how can I charge somebody money for a service I'm providing? I don't care what it is. Maybe it's something that you like doing. Maybe it's something you enjoy doing, right? And they're like, well, how do I go out and tell somebody they got to pay money for it? How do I create the value and the belief that this thing that I have or this thing that I'm doing is worth money? You've got to trust yourself. But see, this trust requires for us to be able to look at ourselves from outside. We have to be able to look at ourselves with value. We have to be able to view ourselves with an appreciation and an understanding of our own ability, of our own worth. And it has a lot of ways that it can impact it. And that's why the question that we have today on the poll is framed the way that it is. Because quite often, we don't see value for ourselves based on who we are or based on what we do. We always see value, quite often we see value based on what other people tell us, how other people view us, or in comparison to other people. And so we're not just here looking at ourselves saying, hey, this is my value. This is what I do. Here's the service I provide. Here is the value and the benefit of this service. We don't do those things, and so we find ourselves, conversely, looking at what other people are saying our worth is, what it does, what we can do. Vagola. Okay. Thank you very much, Juan. So charge for our talents or they will be taken away. And we'll lose value in them. We'll lose, so that's that trust thing. Like if you don't believe you're worth something, if you don't believe that the thing that you do has a benefit or a value, and here's a question for everybody out there, right? If you don't believe the things that you do have a benefit or a value, then you will take whatever somebody offers you for it. So trusting yourself starts with working on yourself. Trusting yourself starts with identifying that you are worth the investment. Trusting yourself starts with working on you outside of what other people say you should be doing or how you should be doing. This trust in ourselves as individuals and as people requires for us to take a step. It requires for us, because we go through so many things as we're growing up. We go through things as we become young adults, and as adults we go through these experiences, and these experiences can create a specific view or mindset for us. They can create these this makeup of who we are based on what others have said to us, what others have done to us, what others have said about us. And we start to outwardly, we start to see ourselves not through our own actions or through our own worth, but through the eyes, the words, and the behaviors of others. And it's not, I mean, it's not like it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like it's a rare thing. It's a very common thing, because we all have people who are outside of us. We all have experiences that are outside of us. And that those things, there are a lot more people, there are a lot more eyes looking at us then we have to look at ourselves, right? Here's the crazy thing about the human body. Here's the insane thing about the human body is all of our freaking senses, right? All of our senses, touch, feel, smell, all of them are receptors. They are all designed to receive information, which means we're constantly taking in information. But not all of the information that we're taking in is desirable or pleasurable or edifying or building or strengthening. Not all of it does that. A lot of what we take in can be negative, detrimental. It can be destructive in its nature. So how do we combat it? How do we combat this negative aspect of what's going on? Well, there's really only one way to do it. We have to start to filter the things that come in. Hey, if it's cold outside, you're gonna put a coat on. Or you're gonna learn to thrive in the cold. You know the guy, I don't know where he's at, up in Alaska maybe? Like he runs around barefoot in like a bikini all winter. He's like, nah, I don't feel the cold. I don't get cold. I'm cool. I was designed not to feel cold. My body's capable. Listen, you will either protect yourself from it or you will learn to thrive in it. But it's a skill that you have to do intentionally. You have to learn to trust yourself intentionally. It's not just some, oh man, I was born with this ability to trust myself and to believe in myself. No, it's a developed trait. Now, some of us may have some predisposed genetic kind of internal mechanisms that allow for us to do it in ways that others can't, but it still requires intentional action. It still requires for us to say, hey, this is what I'm actually doing. Toby, what keeps people from trusting themselves? Consequences of past mistakes. Past mistakes put you in places where you can't achieve what you achieved previously. So past mistakes, right? Because oftentimes past mistakes, we assume or we view past mistakes as identifiers of who we currently are, right? And because we view past mistakes as identifiers of who we are, then these are definitely things that's going to happen to me in the future because I'm still going to be me in the future. And so past mistakes materialize as a reality, which is fear, right? All of these things, I'm telling you, when you dig down into all of them, it's just fear. It's fear. I don't want to look that way again. I don't want to fall that way again. I don't want to have somebody laugh at me again. I don't want to experience those things again. And so those past mistakes turn out that way. Bluey, how you doing this morning, Bluey? JB, why are you in the jungle, bro? Funny. Juan said, seems like a good place to jog. It is a good place to jog. I stopped doing the jog on my walk to talk. I have to do it separate now. It's a whole thing. You go back and see some of the other walk and talks. I used to do the jog at the beginning and then do the walk and talk. I now do the workout separate. Yep, the code is life. See, Juan loves it. What do we have? Previous behaviors, Renee. No, best time to be up. It's a great time to be up. M3, fear is real, right? I'm not going to say fear is for the weak-minded because everybody has a fear. Everybody has something that comes up and says, hey, what if this happens? We all have, especially when we're trying to do something, especially when we're trying to achieve something, there's always that pro and con kind of mindset because as humans, we're built for fight or flight, right? And that's all that really is. Fear is simply saying, hey, what are the possible outcomes? We've now gotten to a point where how we're viewed. As I was saying earlier, there are a lot more people looking at us, especially now that we have these social media platforms and we can come out here and we can talk, and there's like 110 million channels and people can pull it up, and you can say something today, like I could try to say the word Neanderthal, but versus getting out Neanderthal, I say Neanderthal. And so now all of a sudden that's out there. It's for the rest of the world. And so now it's like, oh my God, what if somebody pulls that up? What if all of a sudden I'm a meme that says Neanderthal? So experience, and you don't want to revisit it. And so it's not that fear is for the weak-minded. It's that we have to develop an understanding that there is just as good of an opportunity, or there's just as high as a probability of whatever thing that we're looking to do, we are going to be capable of doing. This is what trusting yourself means. This is what believing in yourself means. Good morning, 77. All right, YouTube TV says TV moguls. All right, the only thing you should fear is fear itself. That's an interesting line. Don't fear fear, because the basis of fearing fear is what fear actually is, right? So don't even be afraid of fear. You have to understand when you experience it, it is like any other emotion. Right? It's like any other emotion, because you don't change how emotions hit you. They hit you. Something happens, your body creates this chemical response to it, boom, it feels a certain way, right? You get up on the top of a building and you're looking down, and your body creates anxiety, difficulty, challenge. You feel a certain way. It's not about whether or not you feel the fear. It's about what do you do in the face of it. It's not about whether or not you think you can do something, or you tell yourself you're going to do something, or you write down something you're going to do. It's about actually doing it. I've had this conversation many times with my children, and I try to explain to them there's a difference between a choice and a decision, right? And for many people, that is where fear pops up. And it can materialize itself in a lot of different ways, but we have to learn to trust ourselves. We have to learn to give ourselves the grace to make the mistake and understand that it's not the end, right? Okay, M3, if you say so. Better reception is too expansive. Reason and logic overcomes fear. Okay, M3, I see you putting a lot of words in there. So you're saying that reason and logic overcomes fear. It allows for you to push past the fear and do whatever the next thing you have to do is, right? Because some things, here's what you have to understand. Some things are illogical. I was about to say illogical. Some things are illogical, and some things really don't have a reason, but people do them, and it changes the world, right? It makes complete change. So it's not always about the reason or the logic. Trust me, even when there are times for this thing to not make sense to do, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's push the boundaries. Let's see what's possible, right? And even in those times, we have to look at ourselves and we say, I trust myself enough to put in the work. I trust myself enough to survive, whether this turns out to be right or wrong. And I'm telling you, the fear of, what if I'm wrong? What if it doesn't work? And see, a lot of times people think fear just stops you. No, it doesn't just stop you. It'll get you to hesitate. It'll get you to move slowly. It'll get you to put it on the back burner. It'll get you to talk about other things. It'll get like fear and not trusting yourself can materialize in some of the people who you believe are the most confident people in the world. Man, I ain't afraid of nothing. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. As a personal trainer, I was working with this young man. So he was working in the gym with me, and I was the fitness manager at this gym. And he had finished college recently, and he was like, man, I want to play in the NFL. I'm like, okay. So he would come in, we'd be in the gym, run around, cracking jokes, playing, trying to get phone numbers, just all types of stuff. And I'm like, okay, man, you know, I see you. And he was like, I'm like, what you want to do? He was like, yeah, you know I want to play in the NFL. And I'm like, okay. So right now, it's the off season. What are professional football players doing right now? Right? Like, what are professional football players doing right now? What are the people who say they want to be in the NFL doing right now? And what are you doing right now? See, we could be really good at saying, man, I ain't scared of nothing. And then do a lot of stuff that keeps us busy, but doesn't move us towards our goal. And then make excuses for, oh, you don't know how hard I work. You don't know how hard this is. You ain't facing the challenges I'm facing. You don't understand how I did this and when I did this and where I did that, right? Listen, not trusting yourself doesn't always materialize as fear. It doesn't always materialize as oh, I'm so scared. It doesn't always come out of the mouth as fear. A lot of times, very confident people, or who appear outwardly confident, can have the same reservations. They can have the same concerns. So I'm telling you, and I'm sharing with you, that it's not just about being logical or reasoning. It's about trust. It's about belief. I say this because most people take actions in their life on what they believe, not what they know. Give me a second. I want to say this again. Most people in their life take actions on what they believe, not what they know. Because even when they know I should not be eating this greasy food, but I enjoy and I believe I'm going to be okay, you eat the greasy food. Even when the evidence shows you otherwise. Even though I should not be smoking this nicotine, I know what the evidence says. I see the number of people that is killed. Yeah, but George Burns lived to be 97. I think I'm George Burns. It's not what you know. It's not what the evidence tells you. It's what you believe, even when you see something that's contrary to it. And so what's the other way? If you don't believe it, then you just dismiss it. Well, I'm not even going to consider it. I'm not even going to consider it. Why? Because if we're built off of belief versus knowledge, that means everything doesn't fall to reason. Everything doesn't translate to us as, oh, this is a reasonable and logical conclusion. We're not the Borg. We're not Spock. We're not walking around just looking at reason and logic and saying, okay, the probability of success is higher than the probability of failure, so let's do it. Look up. I need somebody to help me with this. And this is what I mean, because it takes a certain degree of courage. This is how leaders try to drive us, try to define us and design us, how they try to motivate us, is they give us something to believe in. Can somebody look up the child mortality rate in the 1920s? We are currently in 2025. In the 1920s, 100 years ago in this country, what was the child mortality rate? I know in like 54, it's like somewhere around there they came up with some changes in the economic plans and retirement. But I need to know what the child mortality rate. Why is that important? Because in the face of complete failure, in the reason and the logical approach to what was coming, it did not make sense to continue to try to survive here. It did not make sense to continue to try to expand and grow in this country. It did not make sense. Stop. This is illogical. You're saying it's something there. We ain't been there. We ain't getting it. And more people going there are disappearing than people are coming back. This is bad. In the 1920s, it did not make sense to continue this experiment that is known as America. It didn't. During the Boston Tea Party, hey, that's a whole country. We're a colony, and they are already standing within our communities, within our houses, within our areas. They're here. It does not make sense to fight back. There is no logic or no reason to fight back. It makes more sense to just relent. Let them do what they're going to do, and we'll just be okay. Unc, what should we do to fix the world? Start fixing ourselves. We have to, listen. The first thing that we have to do, right? The first thing we have to do is because I got this freaking, listen, look, Dale, you asked me that cool question, then I read your comment above it. Come on, man, you hurt me, Dale. I'm gonna answer your question anyway, though, Dale. You ain't have to come at me like that. So here's the thing. What we have to do to start fixing the world is we have to start fixing ourselves. We have to start working on ourselves. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of this. We have so many more eyes looking at us than we have eyes looking out. And so we believe that what people say we are, or what people see us as, or what people convey to us and say about us, we have a tendency to believe those things more than we believe ourselves. We have a tendency to trust those views or those aspects more than we trust ourselves. And then we have people who walk around and just want to be validated. I don't need to get anything done. I just need a whole lot of people telling me that I'm doing the right thing, right? I just need to constantly be told that I'm doing good. Look at me, grade me, tell me how good I'm doing. And I don't care if what I'm doing is actually good. I just need you to keep telling me that. And I'll keep showing up in this capacity. Why is that important? Because we're still trusting in what other people are saying about us. We're still trusting in what other people are looking at us and what their view is, right? And so what's important for us to really know is that, hey, this is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I'm going to make decisions and take actions based on me looking at me, based on me receiving information about me. If you want to help the world, help yourself first, right? Because there are a whole lot of people outside of you who are going to always say things that are meant to distract you, are going to look at you in a way that you try to interpret, and because of your internalized fear, because of the way you believe the world sees you, you start to behave in that way, or you develop resentment for what you think other people think before they get a chance to show you otherwise, right? So when we talk about, I want to change the world, well, let's control ourselves. You can't lead somebody else until you can lead yourself. Do you have the ability to set an expectation for yourself and meet it? This is where trust develops. Yo, man, I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk a mile. Get up and walk the mile. You trust you more. You're like, yo, you did that. I did do that. I got you. Let's do it. Let's do something else. You start to develop trust, and it's not just a trust in your ability, it's a trust that you're not going to let yourself down. It's a trust that you're going to show up for you. We don't trust in ourselves. We don't trust in our values. You trust in the company you work for. Because when they say be to work at 8, you get to work at around 8, kind of 8 for some of us. But when you don't have to go to work at 8, you sleep to 10. I'm not doing anything for me. I don't have any plans for me. I'm not getting paid to be awake. Why get up? Because you don't value you. You don't trust you. Until we develop that, there are going to be issues constantly. What is that? Insightful says, I blame Trump for all my problems. Yeah, you're in a long line of people. KM says, nope, not gonna read that, KM, but thanks for commenting. M3, be the change you want to see in the world. M3, you're full of you're full of quotes, M3. Do you have one of those calendars that have like the inspirational quote of the day in them? You're running them off. Bill says, oh my goodness. The census, the mortality rate for children aged 1 to 4 average 6.9 deaths per 1,000 population, ranging from 9.9 in 1920 to 5.6 in 1929. All right, so out of every 1,000 children born, about 10 were dying. That's a high mortality rate, especially when it was held in specific communities. When we're talking about impoverished communities, we're talking about so many areas of America that were undeveloped, and the people kept going. They kept going. People died in shops. People died trying to get to where the good was. People like, man, you caught a cold. Well, there go everybody, right? You get sick, they out here selling, they selling cactus water as an elixir, right? Because people were dying. We were stretching, we would reach for anything that looked like it could save us, trusting in others, but it goes past logic. It goes past reason when you look in the face of what appears to be defeat. You got to get up and go. Snake oil salesman is what they were. Thank you for the bit about showing up for myself. Things I know, but refreshing to hear another say out loud. My greatest lesson is to stop pouring into others who don't want to help themselves. That's from Autumn Night. That can be a challenge. Hey, Autumn, trust me, I'm hearing what you're saying, right? That's where the question comes, is how do we help the world? How do we change the world? I can't change the world if it doesn't want to change. Here's the thing, right? We'll have experiences in our life, and this is why I say we have to look at ourselves. This is why we have to trust ourselves. This is why we have to believe in ourselves, right? It's because we'll have experience, like right now, I'm having this experience from Serbia 911. You black as night. I don't know if all you guys can see the chat. These are 3 consecutive comments. You black as night. I can only see your eyes, cause you so black. I don't know who's on the other end of that keyboard. I don't know if it's a white person or a black person. But guess what I do know? I know I'm black. I do know that. Y'all don't listen, I know the truth is, I turn this camera off, y'all are just gonna be looking at a blank screen. I know how dark I am. I turn this light off, and it get dark quick. So what's the thing? So how do you take it? How do you endure? How do you experience it? How do you live through it? Well, you have to look at you and you have to say, I understand my experience and I understand what I'm going. If helping people is what you do, then that's what you do. That's who you are. That's what your purpose is. That's what your goal is. That's how you live. Live in it, because your reward does not come from the person you're helping. See, if you think that the benefit of you helping someone is that someone being grateful, or that someone returning something to you, or somebody coming up and saying, oh, look how nice you are, then you're not really helping people. You're just looking You're just looking for opportunities for people to come up and congratulate you and tell you how good you are and tell you how nice you are and tell you how understanding you are and how respectful you are. That's what's happening when you do that. That's completely different. That's completely different from, hey, I want to see people do well. I want to see people do well, so I do this work to help people do well, to help people grow, to help people become better, feel better, do better. That's why I focus on what I focus on. That's why I do what I do. See, when we take the approach that this is the behaviors that we have because these are the behaviors that define who we are, and we're not looking for someone else to congratulate us or make us feel good about it, then it changes what we're looking for. It changes how we're able to perform. I don't need you to validate me on this. I don't need you to tell me how well I did this because I know why I'm doing it and I know the reason for it. And I trust myself. Chaos said, I can see you. Yeah, I know. Mr. 8, don't study the negative, bro, bless. You don't study the negative. You grow, you step over as you grow from, but you have to identify. Here's the thing. You have to be able, in order to trust yourself, you have to be able to identify negative thoughts and views, because if you don't, you will internalize them. And for many of us, we believe that we're taking steps towards becoming great, or we're making ourselves stronger, or we're cheering ourselves on, or we're motivating ourselves, or we think we're being accountable, right? Because so many of us respond faster and more efficiently and with more gusto to hate than we do to love. When someone says, I love you and I want to see you do well and I believe in you, come here, let me hold you, let me help you, we have a tendency to, I don't need you, I got it. I don't need nobody's help. But if someone come up to you and say, you're a failure, you're never going to be anything, you weren't meant to do anything, you want to stay right here where you are, I'm going to prove you wrong. We get motivated, we get energized. So why do we respond to people's hate and criticism, but we won't respond the same to people's love and support? By and large, on a whole, this is how we are as humans. And just in case y'all didn't think it was dark, see, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying I'm not black. I'm just saying I don't know who's saying I'm black. That's all I'm saying. Root said, word. Serbia said, are you carrying a weapon? Good question, Serbia. You look cracked out, G. All right, sugar. We see you, my brother. I see you too, Root. I'm just saying it gets dark quick. Indeed, a luscious shade of brown I be. So what are we saying, guys? What does it mean about, do you trust yourself? Do you trust you have your best interest at heart? Right? Like, that's a question. Do you believe that the actions that you are taking are for your best interest? Do you trust that you're going to put yourself above others when you need to? Here's a question, right? This is coming from a man with a wife and 7 children. Here's the thing. On the plane, they tell you, if we lose cabin pressure, y'all all heard this before, put the mask on yourself first. And then put the mask on your child. The importance, people, is because if you put the mask on your child, your infant, does not have the ability to put the mask on you. Your child does not have the ability to perform CPR and resuscitate you. Your child doesn't have the ability to pull the cord and inflate the float or tuck into a safe position. That's your responsibility. And I'm telling you, I know, as intelligent, logical, understanding as my wife is, she's putting the mask on the baby first. You can't make her do it any other way. I do not care what you say. She's going to take care of the babies first. It's hardwired into her nature. Not a bad person, not dumb by far. She's a mother and that's her baby. So here's what I'm trying to say to you. Here's what I'm trying to share with you. When we talk about trusting ourselves, right? We have to trust ourselves even in the darkest of times, even when it's illogical. Because my wife trusts I'm going to get this on the baby and on me. I'm going to be able to do both of those things. But I'm definitely going to get this on my baby. I'm definitely going to increase my baby's likelihood of surviving. This is what I mean when I tell you fear is not about logic or reason. You don't overcome fear with logic and reason. You overcome fear with trust. And trust is not based on logic and reason. Trust is based on believing. Either you believe in yourself or you believe what others say about you. It's a belief. Even when there's no evidence. Laura says, I pray for guidance daily, many times, so I don't lean on my own understanding, but trust God with all my heart. Trust God with all your heart. But here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. I'm going to use the airplane scenario as a born-again child of God, as a born-again Christian. If God drops you an oxygen mask and you start praying versus put it on, don't you blame God. If God sends you good people into your life and you start praying instead of talking to the people that God put there to help you, don't blame God. It's this old joke about this man who's in an area that's flooding. And he says the water comes up to his porch and they pull up to get him. And they're like, Mr. Campbell, get in the boat. He says, I'm good. God got me. Water comes up some more. Now he's all the way up on the second floor of his house. Hey, Mr. Campbell, get in. He says, I'm good. God got me. Come back a third time. Now he's sitting on the roof. They fly in with a helicopter. They say, hey, Mr. Campbell, we can take care of you. Get in. He says, don't worry about it. God got me. Next thing you know, Mr. Campbell's standing at the pearly gates. He's pissed. He's kicking harps. He's slamming gates. He's scraping gold. He is hot. Get to Peter. What's up? I need to talk to God. And Peter's like, whoa, Mr. Campbell. We weren't expecting you for quite a while. He's like, I wasn't expecting to be here either. I need to talk to God right now. They get him in there, take him in front of God. He was like, with all due respect, sir. Hey, all due respect. I was down there 72 years. I did everything you said. I paid my tithes, I paid my offerings. I was trustworthy. I was diligent. I was understanding. I was long-suffering. I was loving. I was all the things you asked me to be. And you said you got me. How did I die? God looked at him and said, man, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. See, here's the thing. You can trust in God. But when God provides you a way, if you don't take it, don't blame God. Because God has put you in a position to trust yourself. He's giving you the strength and the knowledge to guide yourself. We have to start to understand that as illustrious and grand as God is, and I give God more credit than you guys think. There was God before there was anything else. When there was nothing to be nothing, when there was no space, when this whole outer space galaxy thing, before there was that, there was God. You can't really comprehend that. That means that before there was a beginning, he began. Listen, I'm fully committed to the ability and the power and my belief and my trust in God. But when God puts something in front of me, see, here's the thing. When you want to do something, right, you got to listen. You got to listen. When you want to do something, the moment you decide you want to do it, you're going to run into challenges. The moment you make the decision, and the decision is when you take the act, not when you make the choice. You can choose fish for dinner, but if you go buy chicken, you decided on chicken. I don't care what you say. No, I decided on fish. No, you didn't. You chose fish, you thought about fish, you talked about fish, you ate chicken, you decided chicken. Your decision is in your actions. When you decide to do something, there are going to be challenges that need to be overcome. There are going to be challenges that you're going to need to face and you're going to need to overcome. Why is this even relevant? Because when you pray for all of my Christian brothers and sisters out there, when you pray for God to guide you and to lead you, you're going to have to get up and move. See, everybody thinks that, and I don't preach a lot on here. And the reason I don't is because I believe faith is a very private thing, super private thing. Your relationship with God is intimate. You don't share the intimacies of your bedroom with your children. You don't share the intimacies of your life with the world. My faith is the same way, but I'm sharing with you right now, when people hear the term, I have a cross to bear, I have to bear my own cross, we always think it's about making some type of sacrifice for somebody else's edification or growth. No, you're not sacrificing something for someone else. You are carrying your load. You have to make it to the top of the mountain. God's laid out a plan in front of you. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it's got challenges. Yeah, people gonna throw stones. They're gonna spit on you. They're gonna spit on your name. You ain't did nothing to them. So what? So freaking what? Jesus was walking on water and freaking doing miracles while freaking pop locking. And you think somebody's worried about you? You think everybody gonna love you? We can't continue to believe that the world is out here waiting to congratulate us if we can't congratulate ourselves, if we can't trust ourselves. You don't get up and treat yourself better than many people treat you. Girl, you need to get to the gym. Pfft, girl, you know I ain't got no time for that. Of course you do. You're just choosing not to. I'm fine with me. See, this is where this whole self-confidence and trust thing starts to go backwards. Oh, I'm fine with me. I'm just good with me. I ain't worried about what nobody else say. Yeah, you might not be, but if you gotta take a break, if you need a spot to get off the toilet, you probably need to look into some exercise, right? If you gotta take a deep breath, to eat dinner, right? You need a time out to finish dinner? Come on, man. Stop talking about I'm fine and I'm good and I love me and I'm taking care of me. I ain't worried about what nobody say about me, but you're not. You ain't happy with you. You just gotten to the point where you've gotten okay letting yourself down. You've gotten to the point that I no longer fear dying because I'm not taking care of myself as much as I fear someone saying something to me if I try to take care of myself. I fear what other people will say when they look at me. I fear what other people will think. So versus me trying to change it, I'm just going to embrace what it is. I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I try to become smarter. What if I don't get as smart as the next person? What if I don't do as well as the other business? I would much rather not try. I would much rather not start. I'm going to just stay where I am, because at least where I am right now, I can just learn to love this space that I'm in, where I'm at, just get accustomed to it. Lee, this guy huffing and puffing for walking at 1 mile an hour. Stop playing with me, Lee. Don't make me chase you down. Let me see, what is this? Live stream says it looks scary, both sides. You worry about a Sasquatch creeping up on you? Not as much as I used to be. Thank you, Brittany. AJ, Captain, chill dude first, all right? Leo said, hi, I know some of you guys, just so you guys know, this is live, it's not pre-recorded. I am here. I am not one of the Sasquatch videos, just like for those of you who think this is a Yeti cam. No, I'm not gonna go running through the woods. I wanna appreciate everybody from being here. I wanna thank you guys for waking up and taking this walk with me this morning. I wanna just share that it's really important. I talk about trusting yourself because I've had the experience of not trusting me. I've lived through the time of not believing in me. I lived through the moments of it's somebody else's fault. It's not happening for me because I'm not given the opportunity. They don't want to see me succeed. They don't care about me. I put everything outside of me. Everything was external. Everything was about how somebody else was seeing me versus what I was doing for me. Here is why it's important. When I began to trust myself, when I began to believe in myself, and I began to take actions on my belief, on my expectations, on where I wanted to go, on how I wanted to be in my life, when I really started to focus on that and believe in that, I had to change my behaviors. I had to stop setting expectations and stop choosing behaviors that are designed to get a response from someone else. I didn't work out because I wanted someone to look at me and say, hey, you look good. I worked out because I was trying to achieve a goal. I didn't start putting money aside so somebody could come up and say, hey man, look at you, you're growing your savings account. I started putting money aside because I knew that there was a better way for me to live that required for me to learn how to make my money grow. See, when we start to trust in ourselves and we start to believe in ourselves, we start to work on ourselves, we find value in ourselves. And if you don't have any value in you, trust me, nobody else out there will. Nobody else is going to be standing out there prepared to invest in you if you're not prepared to invest in yourself. And trust me when I tell you, I know because I'm on this platform and there are so many of us out here who are trying to take steps, who are trying to grow, who are trying to believe in themselves, who are trying to face down the fear. And there are haters everywhere. There are people who want to just say bad things to you because they get the opportunity to do so. There are people who are waiting for the opportunity to put you down, not because you're saying anything wrong, not because you're doing anything wrong, just because you're there and they want to put you down. We have to understand that overcoming those challenges requires us trusting in us. You need to take those steps. You need to be strong. You need to understand there'll be Joshuas in the world. There'll be people who, no matter how positive you are, all they respond to is hate. There'll be people who want you to try to destroy them because they understand that the hate destroys you more. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. You're going to have old driver. I'm only mentioning that these people are here to show you that I'm not telling you something just for the sake of telling you something. I'm sharing something with you because you need to start to believe in you. You need to start to trust in you. You need to start to love you, and you need to act on those beliefs, those thoughts, and those trusts, because that's how you're going to grow you. You have got to cut out the noise. You've got to step over your haters, step on them. You've got to understand that the whole way up, you're going to pass people by. Everything you do in your life. And then we're all made to receive. Our eyes, our ears, how we can feel, they're all receptors. And so when people start projecting their shortcomings, their hate, their disdain, when they start projecting it on you, this is where you trust in God. This is where you turn to God and you say, I know what I'm capable of. I know that you're here in my life, and I know that I can do this. I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. I'm going to keep going because I know what I can do. AJ said he just told about not looking for validation from people. But what is he doing here? Preaching and looking for likes and subscribes. I'm not preaching and looking for likes and subscribes, AJ, and this is the point that I'm trying to make. So here's the thing, people. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do for yourself. It doesn't matter where you're trying to go, what you're trying to build, or who you're trying to build it with. If people want to see you the wrong way, they will. If people want to hate you, they will. If people don't want to support you, they will. Trust me, there are a lot more people who love you than there are people who hate you. There are a lot more people like Leo who'll say double tap the screen. There are a lot more people like Sonny who'll say Christ is king, right? There's a lot more people out there like Sonny who says the meek shall inherit the earth. There's a lot of people out there who'll know that I have a good soul and they'll show it to you. But see, what the haters do more than the people who love you do, because people who love you, they come to you with kindness. They come to you with patience. They come to you with understanding. They come to you prepared to listen. They come to you prepared to take in what you have to share. And haters just want to shout you down. People who want to see you destroyed take actions that try to destroy you. I'm here, people, because I believe that in my own life, the actions that I've taken have significantly changed my life, not just in the area of my finances, but in my relationships with my wife, my relationships with my children, my relationship with myself, my ability to be able to grow on my job, my ability to be able to take control of my future. All of these things happened because I began to work on myself, care about myself, love myself, understand what it means to get up to work on me when I don't have to go to work on my job. And as we make this growth, as we gain this trust, as we learn to believe in ourselves in this way, growth is inevitable, guys. Growth is inevitable. Starts with discipline, man. You got to get up and get started. You got to do the same thing over and over and over again. Don't worry about it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Doesn't need to be consistent. You just need to understand that you're working on something, and the only way to get there is to get started. You got to be patient. It's going to take time. You're learning the skills. You're learning how to use the tools. You're building that. And then you need to get a plan. That's where consistency comes in. I need to design something that can show my growth, that I can use to track my growth. And then you have to persevere. You have to go through all the darts, the slings, the daggers, the naysayers, the people who don't believe you, the people who are standing next to you and telling you that they don't think it can happen. You have to survive. You have to get through all of that. And I don't care what it's focused on. I don't care if it's on your finances. I don't care if it's on your diet. I don't care if it's on your faith. You have to follow the same process. And that's discipline. And I guarantee you, as you work towards mastery of anything, you are guaranteed to see success. Guaranteed to see it. I'm here because I believe that many of you out here can use this message. Many of us can use this motivation. Motivation is temporary. It'll get you up today, but the discipline will get you up tomorrow and every day following it. Start to develop the discipline. Value you, trust you, live your best life, people. I want to thank you all for being here this morning. If you haven't done so yet, please double tap the screen. Likes would really help. Just so, Joshua, you could be right. Also, like, subscribe, and share. I better see you back here, Joshua. You have to go through it sometimes to understand it. Absolutely. I tease some people on lives, but dang, man. And the cool ones roll with it. And it's funny. It can be, Leo. It can be. Sometimes it is funny. And sometimes I feed into the tease. I get it. We're here to enjoy ourselves. I'm here to enjoy ourselves. There's a difference between somebody teasing you and somebody trying to destroy you and trying to destroy others. Thank you guys so much for being here this morning. Thank you for participating in the walk and talk. Thank you for all the time that you've shared with me. I gotta go. I gotta get these kids up and get ready for school. But before I go, guys, I just want to share this with you. Look, every day you need to keep showing up, keep blowing up, and keep growing up. Until next time, guys, take care. God bless.